So everything was good. To go to the hospital with the midwife for the birth, and she came with us, drove us both there, and we went to the BGH, and got in right away, right, and then I was having a little bit of distress, because I already felt like I couldn't do it, and the nurses were predominantly Caucasian and that, and not that I'm racist, but when I'm not thinking in my own mind and I'm going through this traumatic, intense feelings of pain, my stomach and my mind, the human threshold is only so high. I was probably beyond that by the time we got there, and she puts me on a bed and starts strapping things to my stomach, and I says, "Get this off of me." I couldn't tolerate the feeling of it on me with the pain I was in, and I says, "Tell this white woman to get this stuff off of me." And so she didn't put it on and took it off, right, and left me alone for a little bit, and the doctor didn't show up probably for another couple hours or so or whatever, I'm nearly ready to deliver, and I didn't know when to push. I was like just struggling in and out of just terrible thoughts of I couldn't do it. I couldn't even feel like I could give natural birth. I was asking, could I have a cesarean, and the doctor, when she got there, she says no, because that's the last resort, and I said, oh. So I was a little bit prepared for the natural way, but I had just been emotionally drained for the years before that I was fighting in the Children's Aid, and my health was really bad. I had the burnout, and I was near depression breakdown. That didn't happen till after the year after the baby had died, but before that I was still having pretty bad physical, mental, emotional health, and I just felt like I couldn't do it. But I had to ask her when I pushed and say, could I push now, or when do I push? And she wouldn't answer me for a few minutes. The doctor herself, she's just sitting there, and finally, after asking her a few times and nobody in the room, not the midwife or anybody, was answering me, she gave me a snappy answer and says, you can push now. I says, okay. So I went right through it, and the baby was born and taken to the breast, and then into the nursery, and the midwife left and said she would come back in a little while. So me and the dad, went and visited the baby after his bath in the nursery, and they let us see him and everything, and we tried to pick him up, and they got funny. They got funny with us. They had put a meconium thing for catching the baby's feces and urine onto his private parts, and I'm like, what is this for? And they told me that, and they said, oh, it's just general routine. I'm like, that didn't happen with my other children, so it's not general routine. What is it for? You think we're on something? Like, you want a urine sample? You want my sample? You didn't ask for mine. What are you doing to my baby, And so that was that. And then we left. The dad left to go home. He said he'd come back the next morning, and I spent the night, and then they let me go first thing in the morning. The doctor was there to let me go, and I told them, I want to take my baby with me. I'm leaving, and they said no, he has to stay here. The Children's Aid have contacted us and we can't take him. Apparently you're not even allowed to have access to him or some sort of thing like that. So I walked all the way home from the Brantford General all the way down Erie Ave, which for a mother who just gave birth was pretty darn heroic, and I was in pain, and my perineum, the area where you are affected by when you give birth, and it was like, really sore for me, and I walked home, skinny stomach. I just 9 months with a baby in your tummy, and you're going home skinny, just a whole new set of emotions and stuff. So I went home and I told him what happened. We got ready and had a shower, and I put some makeup on, and we went back to the hospital to have a visit with the baby, because they had told us we could visit. They told us we can visit in the hospital, right? And if we came back, one of the nurses told me. So we went back there, and we had obviously disposable cameras for picture taking of him, of the birth and everything that we'd forgot when I went into the delivery room. And so we brought that with us, and we go in there, and he picks him up first, and then he hands him over to me. And a real vile behaving nurse, she was just mean, come over and said, "You can't pick him up, what are you doing?" He says, "I'm holding him." And no, he has to lay down. He's like, "It's my son, why?" So she left us alone, and then he gives him over to me, and I was feeding him. And then he started taking pictures of us, the baby, and that, and the nurses were giving us dirty looks and looking at each other and acting as if, we're out of line or some sort of thing. And then he gets the courage to go and take pictures of the nurses who told him that he couldn't hold the baby, so he did that. And then they're like, "Excuse me, sir, give me that camera, you can't take pictures in here," and da-da-da-da-da. So she calls a code white on, she snatches the baby, drops him in the bin, and I tell him we'll see him later very soon. Sorry about this had to happen, but we're gonna try and protect him and give him kisses. And so we're running out, not running, but we left through the hallway. We're gonna leave naturally, like, not running, but just we're leaving, we're hurry, right? And the one nurse is following us out, they getting real close to me, walking with us, and they said, "Quit following me, we're leaving." And she's arguing with me and getting in my face, and so I started calling her a few names right in the delivery ward, and I told her, "You slam my baby down, you're lucky I don't punch you out right now." And she's like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna hit me? Hit me." And she's in my face, and she's got these weird looking teeth and stuff, so I just whatever made some names on her. I said, "Get your stupid chipmunk teeth out of my face," right? And finally she backed off when her colleague come and told her to step down. So we left, and we got all the way home, and then the cops come and to our apartment on Erie Ave, and they asked us what happened. So he told them he was taking pictures in there, didn't like it, and I hid the cameras when I knew it was the cops, because I knew they'd probably try and take it or something, but they didn't get that far. And so yeah, we weren't arrested or anything. They just wanted to know what happened, and we said nothing happened. Just there was a little, disagreements in there, and we did not know until, like after I was released from the hospital, that we couldn't take the baby, or there was going to be some problems or something. We didn't know. The CAS didn't tell us they were doing that. Nobody told us nothing. The midwife didn't tell us. Had she been told, nothing. So that was the hospital visit, and the last time we saw him until we had actual visit set up with the Children's Aid Society at the access centers.